Hey, this is the Hobo Script. I'm Topher the Paranormal Hobo. We talk movies, we talk horror, and with me today we are talking to Kyle Putra of Night Art Productions, and we're going to get into all of his stuff right now.
How's it going? The square.
So, there's a funny story here. Uh, we were doing promotion stuff for Black Book, and that led us from Indianapolis to Fort Wayne to Louisville, Lexington, Kentucky, and then we went up to Chicago. And 4 or 5 hours away from where we're at, I get a message back saying, "Hey, you'll never guess. Like, Night Art Productions is right next to us. Cool time, had a great time. Everything was awesome. You'll never guess where they're from." And I was like, where? And they're like, literally the town over. So we drive 4 hours to run into somebody who is literally 20 minutes away.
It was our first convention period being a vendor, and then also maybe like our fourth time being in Chicago. And was that your first Chicago?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's so weird. Like it was our first Chicago show, it was yours, and then we managed to be next to Town Productions and so we had this huge line of just independent artists making great wild movies. Awesome. You had you guys selling the Black Book, which was an anthology film. Big Town Productions selling, High on the Hog, and they have their mix of cool stuff. And selling our first movie, which was Experiment 53, which was, our first thing that was awesome. It's just amazing that how that happened and how close we all listened. Ben and Kevin of Hicktown, me and you, we're literally 20, and that's just astounding. Like, how did we end up being in the same row and and just be so close to each other and not know that we were making movies around the same time?
Yeah, no, and like so close and whatnot. We did have you come on set and help us with our next film, which was Night Talkers. And how did you find being on somebody else's set? Because you did your first one, and like, did you have any work before that on a set, or was that your first?
It being our own movies, Experiment 53 and the Grim Findings of Claudius. Your set, and we've already filmed Experiment 53 and Claudius, and then coming set, we're like, whoa, look all this different stuff that we could have learned that could have made more easier. With Claudius, I did everything with it and did it, and working with like Brian Papandrea, which made his own films, and Alice Wing, a couple of my films. We just kind of go, oh, wow, look how much easier they made this whole film. Just being more organized was amazing to see you guys be. Lighting, I learned ever doing lighting before. I'm a natural light guy. Granted, it's only because these fancy ass lights that we were using on your set. So it's just that.
Yeah, they get a little expensive, but thank God for producers who who come in.
Right. Yeah. So that, I think that was the greatest thing, and just seeing how other people work. I'm so it was great to see how other people did it their way. It was great to see what it does. It's nice to see how, the script person also did this and this, and how organized it was, and everybody was just ready to rock and roll.
Well, the script person was only supposed to do so much, but we were shorthanded, so that's why he ended up taking off more stuff.
Right.
But
I think that it kind of helped just watching it from the inside looking in, the outside looking in, be with the script, writing everything, organizing everything, and I was like, oh shit, this is just fun. I thought that was super awesome. And that was like my biggest takeaway. Just watching you guys and what we have been, or what I have been, was just awesome. And just, you think everybody has a different directing style, and just seeing how you direct was very informative. But I feel like we can all learn from each other that way, but at the same time, style. I'm not going to try to copy what you did. You know what I mean? And
yeah, like I said, like my style tends to be trusting the actor, especially when they nail something and they might not realize it. And like, okay, why don't we do that? I loved when you did this. Do this again.
Yeah. I think a prime talk about it. There's the part where Jason Crow's character like got out of the car and he pulled down. I don't know if that was in the script, but
no,
I'm
it
pretty
wasn't
sure you're
in
like,
the script. No.
Yeah, so it was really cool, and like you just see how people interact with each other, which I'm sure, like, I know, like, was his name Chris, the main boss guy. I can't think of his name. I can't remember.
Jason Smither.
Jason's, yes, yeah. Jason Smithers and Brittany worked together, but I don't think worked with Brittany before. So it was just great to see that chemistry. And that's
the thing you can't really teach. Like, that's where you got to trust them and whatnot, and just be like, hey, get together, talk while we're getting ready, kind of figure out where you're at. It was like, okay, Dominic and Jason Crow, you guys are, Crow, you're the comic relief, you're the funny guy. Dominic, you're the serious guy, but you guys are buddies and they've been friends forever, so play off of that dynamic a little bit. And it was just like they knew exactly where to go with it.
Right.
If you cast well, you never have that problem.
Oh, with that. Yeah, that was just cool. And just to talk about other how close everybody is in proximity, is you ended up casting somebody I've known just from going into my old job. Bailey Durr was in your movie, which was her. She did the poster art for the Grim Findings of Claudius.
She also did our poster
art for you, but
too.
neither. Yeah, so it's just crazy that we were using the same outlet and neither her, and it was just awesome. I thought that was so cool.
Funny thing with her is we did our first indie film festival, and we had Zach Parker's Proxy was playing at the film festival here in town. And we were working hard. We got everything going and we got it all up there. And she was young at the time. Her mom came in and said, I'm giving her permission to watch this rated R movie.
That's awesome.
And
Proxy.
So and I knew her mom from the newspaper. So like that was being, like, okay, I know, boom, boom, boom. And then seeing that she did the artwork for you guys. And I was just like, hey, would you be interested in doing this? And, the artwork for us. And she was like, yeah. And then as I was talking, I was like, hey, would you happen to be able to do this one role? I sent her the stuff. She was like, oh my God, that would be so awesome.
Right.
And she was like, ridiculously like nervous because it was her first set. But I think she did a hell of a job. I said, can we, I know your choice in outfits, like, can we get as close to Nancy from The Craft as possible? And she was like, yes. She was like, I thought I was going to have to dress up. Like, this is my normal clothes. It was like kind of typecasting, but that's where my first thought went. I was like, hey, that would be a good.
Right.
Yeah. It's just cool that, like, I didn't even know she knew you until I saw the Grim Findings poster.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's just so crazy because I probably got it done around this time last year, which was about it done. So that was a little bit after we just ran into you guys for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Makers like did the introductions, like, here's their contact info, get a hold of them.
Yeah, and I messaged her and I go, I messaged Bailey, and then when we gave you guys our information, it worked out pretty well.
Oh yeah. So, what is some of your inspiration? Like, like how did you get into movie making, and what inspired you to get into this stuff? Because it comes from all angles.
Yeah, inspiration for me was Hellraiser. That is the first movie that I watched, and I was like what storytelling is about. This is
Yeah.
what horror is about. It's not about the blood and guts. It's all about, oh, there's this really dope ass story and it was just that moment of seeing Uncle Frank chained up and just saying Jesus wept. My mind was fucking blown. I was just like, no way. This is, and it's just that type of thing where like, you watch it and boggle, you don't know what to think, and just the characters and all the special effects in this movie are just phenomenal. Watching Uncle Frank be reanimated through the motion work and just all the prosthetics and all the outfits, and just is what horror is. It's about love. It's about death. It's about hell and heaven, and what is your depiction of these. I like it so much, and that's like one of my biggest inspirations. That yep, this is why I fucking love movies. This is what I want to keep diving into. Let me try to find and then of course I evolved more and more, the behind the man, and that was something way back when they were trying to make the second movie thing where you get it shown in a movie theater. So I was trying to get it shown in just so I could watch it on a big screen, and also to help them get the second movie made. Style movie, it's a mockumentary about a serial killer. These are just like first, notions of like, yes, this is what I want to do. I love trying to do big things and show people what art is.
I did notice, like I did notice that you have a penchant for hanging on scenes. I didn't know if that came from another inspiration of yours, or like you taking a style that you like.
Some of the things, I wish I was more prepared for this answer, because I know there's better thought of, okay, I'm hanging here, like, let me go. Oh, this is burning, and I want that sense of dread, but where you also just about like what is going to happen. I know one of the earliest inspirations for House of Thousand Corpses, where the sheriff is down on the ground and they have that gun just sit him and kill him. That scene goes for forever, and you're like, okay, what the and I also just love to really have people sit there and watch it. All right, I get it. Like, let's move on. Another inspiration for that is
Kind of like Family Guy.
Yeah. Another inspiration is Harmony. There's a scene in that movie that, like, the camera doesn't, the most uncomfortable I've ever felt in an entire movie in my entire life. And if you've
And
never
what movie was that?
watched,
I think your audio glitched a little bit.
oh, I apologize. The movie was Ken Park and then Larry Clark directed it. That movie just had to sit for so long, and you're just like, okay, this is like got to stop. Like, I can't handle like shit. Like, let's move, because it just makes you so fucking uncomfortable, and that's what I wanted to do. I know my biggest inspiration now just hit me for how certain scenes were so low was from Gaspar Noé's movie Irreversible. Obviously not as intense as the big scene in Irreversible. If you've never seen Irreversible, it's top 10 most disturbing movies because of a certain scene. But the camera just sits there 10 minutes, and you just see all this brutality, and you see all this agony, and puts you in the emotion of the character.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's what there was a lot of inspiration with Claudius, with how my camera work was, and how my jing of each frame was on there as well. I messed around with a lot of scene widescreen and full screen, and then having two scenes at the same time playing. I also took a little bit of inspiration from um, a horror film where the the widescreen slowly gets smaller as the movie, which is amazing because not a lot of people notice that it gets smaller, and that's something I wanted to see if what is. Did they notice that some scenes were full screen, and did they notice some scenes were wide? Notice this or notice that, and I'm a big person about like noticing stuff in the back. Are they trying to do something more in each scene? And I just think that was really cool. My inspirations came from for the Grim Findings of Claudius. Just move. But yeah, Gasper Noé, some A24 stuff that's out there. Just that's my big, huge explanation about why I liked.
Well, we talked about it. Let's go ahead and show the trailer. So you guys will be watching the trailer. Here we go.
The truth is that every relationship is as unique as the individual.
He's here again today.
But one thing holds true. For love to exist between two people, each person must allow the vulnerability of giving his or her love to the other. If you ask couples who have a strong and abiding love what they like most about their partners, many will say when they are with that person, they don't have to pretend to be anything other than what they are. Can I do something? Can I kiss you?
Well, are you coming or not?
All right, so that was the thing, and you had a special note like added on to that thing. What was the cool part
Yeah, what was
of that?
is while working on the set of your movie, I met up with Jason Crow, and Jason Crow was actually my second Claudius in that movie, but obviously he was super busy with Phantom Fun World and Killing, and like he was doing a million things by the time I was trying to get Claudius set up.
And he still is.
So
like he's constantly, and he's got the new Project X thing that we're going to talk to with him about here coming up in a few days. So
yeah, so but I contacted Jason Crow, and I was talking about how like I needed a trailer done for Claudius so I could start showing festivals. And he was like, well, let me watch the movie and let me see what I could come up with. And Jason did my I thought that was super awesome. I'm not the best at doing trailers, just because I want to do a million things. But Jason made it a very, very nice, simple, to the point trailer. I really appreciate Jason Crow for doing that for me.
oh no, he's a really cool guy. And like when he was like, oh, here's the thing that I did for Claudius, I was like, oh
yeah. So it was super cool.
I know you guys got to talking about stuff like Satanic Soccer Mom from Ohio and all of those. Like that's
Kyle,
been coming up like everywhere now. Like every conversation that I've had.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really hitting a lot of places. I was talking to Kyle Rayburn because he was like, bro, let's just trade movies because I got to see Claudius. And I was like, all right, cool, let's do this. And how he shot that movie and the people that he got for that movie, to have Ellie Church in there, Andrea to be awesome as normal. You got his wife, Sadie, in there. And just it was a great time. It was great to see Chloe work again. Chloe, I can think of Satanic Soccer Moms. She was also in Brian Peppendra's movie Spooky Dookie. Great to see her range of acting, which was awesome. Because she's in touch with maybe being my lead for an upcoming project that we'll talk about later. Yeah, it was just a fun movie. Very Little Monsters-esque. Fun. You know, it's one of those just horror movies you kind of watch on a daylight and just but get stoned and watch it type movie. So.
See, those are fun too. Like you can have your horror fest, like monsters and blood and all of the stuff, and then you have the ones that you can just sit back and chill and just relax and like
Yeah,
let it go.
For sure, it was a great time. I really it's rounds. I've only noticed it in like a couple film festivals, which is crazy because I feel like it's almost on like the level of Pool Party Massacre at this point. Like people, soccer moms from Ohio is.
Yeah, like what's funny is because of my medical stuff, I'm not able to do too many things. But like I do indie and like surrounding areas, but we send Maker off to be the extrovert that goes off and talks to everybody, and that was one of them. He brought back and was like, "Dude,
you got to watch this."
But I don't know, like if has it been hitting the circuit? It's been everywhere, like that I've talked to, but I just haven't seen it like in indie or.
It's made it in a couple. I think it was in Film Nightmares or something. It was in a couple film festivals getting it around, which is awesome. But definitely pick it up. I think he still has Blu-ray copies. I just don't know how
many. So we watched the trailer for Claudius. What do you got coming up? Like, what is some of the projects you got? Because like you guys, like you're hitting the ground running. Like every time I tell you, like, oh, I got this. Like these are the ideas that I got rolling. So,
right. So I have three things. The first one is a short film for a much bigger project that's not my own. This idea about making a short film for their anthology film. I can't go into a lot of details. It's under wraps and everything, but I'm in hopes of where I know again, and I'm trying to get Jessa Daisy back on just by hoping she will sign on to this project as well. And then I have my own. The first one is called The Fear of Trees, which you'll be watching a trailer. I know Topher has a copy of that. And then my second movie is called Robo. It is a blaxploitation film that me and a coworker are writing right now named Brady. Super awesome. I just got the title theme song made. I just got that. It's so good. Like I was listening to it at work, and like I have friends that we just sit there, and I'm like, dude, look how awesome this is, and like we are making this happen. Gonna be it's very Silent Hill inspired, because that's one of another movies is Silent Hill. I love everything about it. Creature design, music, setting, metaphors, and then Robo Negro is blaxploitation. That Jack Hill and the Jackie Brown from Quentin Tarantino, and this whole movie got completely thought up by one of my. I'm not going to say the line, but it will be in the movie, and I'll tell you what that is after that. But teaser trailer for that movie right now. But Fear of Trees, I'm just doing some final rewrites on that, and then Robo will be casted once that script is completely. Robo is still in its creating stages, but I've got a lot of things working for it, and for me to finish right. it.
So let's go ahead and show the Fear of Trees, and we'll be right back after it gets done. All right, so that was the Fear of Trees. Anything you want to?
Yeah, the guy that made the music for ended up doing the music for that teaser trailer. His name is Anthony Auburn, guy that I met at the same place I met Bailey, which is random, at my old job, because he's in video games at a place called Game Exchange, which is awesome, and just really connected from his music and Cellophane Parade, and then him, and it just worked out really well. And this music was actually it was just some music that I had put back, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm just going to put that on there. Super cool. Very exciting. But yeah, Fear of Trees, if you couldn't tell by the trailer, something that's been in the works ever since Night Art Productions got started. It was my first photo shoot because we were bored and we wanted to create art, and that was and I created this entire story, and this is what has been worked on for so. I just want it to be so right, and that's my fear. So I just keep like going, okay, nitpick, and that's the worst.
Yeah,
part
that's
about
the
being
one. That's the bad thing. Like you sometimes have to step away and be like, all right, it's done. Or else it'll never be finished. You'll always be picking at it, and you'll always be doing whatever. You just can't get perfection paralysis.
Right.
You got, and that's hard for me too sometimes, because I'm like, I don't like this. I don't, like maybe if I do it this way, and it's just like, you know what, I've had this for way too long. I need to get it out. Like,
yeah,
for
sure. No,
cutting the stuff that I really is like, I really like this shot, but it doesn't match the flow, and I'm over here trying to make it work. When if I just cut it, it worked. Like everything else works, and it's just
right. But yeah, no, it's going to be great. My casting is going to be vital to that movie. And then another inspiration, but like Under the Skin is a little bit of inspiration for this movie. Neon is another inspiration for this movie.
So a little bit of body horror.
A little bit about just metaphors and things meaning shit, and actually am, I guess. But it's just great. I don't know. Taking part pieces and stuff to go back to Claudius. There's a few scenes that, and I was able to mush them all together and make one cohesive scene, which was amazing. Because Prap and it's like one of the greatest people to act of all time that I've ever worked with. Let alone I haven't worked with a lot of people. Him act, and he just goes so in depth with everything, and he's so, there's just so many times I was watching him act in Claudius, and holy shit, like this is phenomenal. I can't knock this shit out. And a lot of one takes of that movie. There's some that I wish I would have redid, of course. So I was like, there's no way this could be any better. Like, I'm so happy with the way this is. Taylor, you see Brian kiss Alice on the cheek, and he's like, hey, can I kiss you? When I was filming that scene, I was blown away. It was the entire movie, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, this is what I wanted," because it's so cringy. It's so watching Succession. It's phenomenal. And then Alice is just Alice Winkler. She is the coolest person I've ever met, and so nice. Fucking kills it every time she acts.
Like, what was
I
some
don't
of
know
the
how
other stuff? Because I recognized her, but I'm not like we are moving into the phase of getting out of Indianapolis actors and whatnot. So like what like I know her from something.
she's in Space Babes from Outer Space. She's in She's in a new trauma film called something weird, but it's Weird or something. And an Experiment 53, obviously. She's just so damn cool, man. She's really awesome and just super nice to work with. She, there's people out there that just kind of take your money and just do whatever, but she's hard, and she's so deserving of everything, and she's
Well, it's
awesome.
cool. Like it's funny. Like I seem to be like running through and finding all of these people that Brian Shermer has like cast before. Like, oh, I would love to work
Yeah,
with. What was they in? Oh, it's the Shermer film. Oh, okay.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Scott Shermer's catalog is,
yeah,
that,
Scott Shermer.
yeah. Harvest Lake was the first indie movie, so I like backed that on Indiegogo or whatever it was, and that's what like real indie world.
Mm.
So and after that, I was buying like Bloodsucker Jones, and I was indie horror movie I'd see at conventions. So it's awesome. There's just so much great shit.
The rise of the technology, so that you're no longer having to film on film cameras to make it
Right.
look good. I mean, you had like the 80s and the 90s with the blockbuster, the boom in home video rentals and whatnot, to where you had like literally VHS guys with VHS cameras and pausing and hitting record
Yeah.
and doing all this stuff to try to edit and all of this. And
It's just amazing. I mean,
to now it's just so much different. Like it's so much easier now than
yeah.
it.
And just look how amazing it could be. Has opened so many fucking doors, regardless of what anybody thinks about Terrifier and Terrifier. King just did something with this second movie. There was nobody telling them what they could and couldn't do. They're going, oh, you need to change this because it's not family friendly or something. No, this movie you want to donate to us, and everybody donated to them, and it's one of the highest grossing indie films of movie theaters. Like,
Right.
it's amazing what I think is done for the indie horror community. And you even look at The Barn and these two movies are definitely something that is opening doors and windows and just blowing the whole. You know what, Hollywood, we don't fucking need you.
Right.
Fans know what they want, they're gonna do, but it's just to this point where if you're an indie horror movie director or indie movie director in general, shit out there, if you're not pushing and if you're not selling the way you need to, nobody's going to know you're something. For people to know who you are, you have to make a statement. You have to, and you have to just constantly create. And that's my big takeaway. I know you didn't ask that question, but that's something that's living in my head right now.
There's one of those things that I tend to be more of the on the writing side and the directing side and whatnot. But I'm constantly like, we got like working on our third book that's tied to movies. So it's like I write the book and then take the stories out of the book and then construct the movie out of that. So it just seems to be more of a way for me to expand the stories and whatnot, and it's hard for me to actually sit down like you guys and like you guys, like normal people, and
Yeah.
work on the script and then do all this stuff and whatever. Like I have to write it out in prose first and get it out
Yeah.
and see like how it's going to form into like what I can catch. Um, but then I have like a trunk full of stories that I have to put into a book and sell, so I can help make the money to make the movie. Uh,
Right. I mean, even
but that's kind of goes
indie
to
book.
merchandising sides of things. What are
Right.
you have you started doing the merchandising side?
I for Robo Negro, I plan on getting homemade barbecue sauce made.
Nice.
Because if you didn't notice from Experiment 56, we had hot sauce made by Frankie G. Frankie G is amazing. He is also the fiance of Alice Winkler, and he makes hot sauce, and it's phenomenal. We have a very, very nice smoky jalapeno hot sauce for Experiment 53, and then we had a gray, but it was pineapple, it was peaches, Rainier cherries, all in a hot sauce. I think I have one bottle left, and so I want to continue this food for my movies because I love food, and so does everybody else.
Me too.
And how cool is it? Hey, you want to try this hot sauce? Or hey, you want to try this barbecue sauce? Like, that's the stuff that's going to get my attention from a movie. Like, oh, you have hot sauce? Yeah, let me fucking try it. So what I like to do is try to once again connect people together and makes their own barbecue sauce or hot sauce, and then I could sell it and put their name out. So not only am I trying to work with artists that I've never worked before, I want food makers, I want all this stuff, and just try to bring us all together and make dope shit happen. I think that's in one is just art. So if I could incorporate so many other people and help so many other people, and it's just all that awesome stuff. I forgot music, and that's the most important thing to any tone. You got to have great music. So, I have my buddies on phenomenal music, which they will be doing a lot of music for Fear of Trees. It's just stuff like that. They're amazing, and you got to have it all together and help each other out. If you're not helping each other out, then what do? You can't just do it for yourself, because everybody needs a piece.
As much as some of us try, because you get burned a couple times. You're like, I'll just do it. I don't care. Like, I'm tired of waiting on other people.
Right.
But
at the same time,
you gotta do. Yeah, you gotta. It takes a large group of people to do cool things sometimes,
right.
And
so
the more people, less headache.
Yeah, I don't know where to go from there.
Sorry, I have ADD brain, so I just random interjections. Interjection. No, so we have Fear Trees. We have Claudius out now. We have Robo Negro and this unnamed project that you have that's a part of an anthology coming out. We are shooting the next segment of for Night Talkers this spring, if you're still interested in
those dates, and I'll ask them off.
And this time we're actually getting a full-fledged monster with stilts and mechanical hands and all of the.
Awesome.
That's our like this is our like foray into like big scary things. So I think it'll be pretty neat. And you guys did a phenomenal job. Like when you like just seemed to like, hey, we got this light rigged, yada yada. It's like I didn't until you just said like I'm not really like lighting and yada 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 until I was on your set and I was like, I like stuff went up, things were lit. Of course,
yeah.
Director side, you're not really focused on that,
right? And just to bring up Brandon, your DP. The first day I was getting used to everything that he needed and stuff. But then like the second day, this is what he's going to need. I noticed his pattern. And that was what was so great about I noticed that pattern. And so it made my brain think, oh, this is what he's going to need. We need this and need that. That was awesome. That's crazy that you thought I did lighting, because I've never done lighting in my life. So
well, that was like the thing. It was like I didn't have to worry about it because like you guys would go off talk,
right.
and then like he wasn't like over there going, well, no, like having to show you or instruct you like this is this and yada yada yada. It was just like boom, it's up on the things. You know, we have
Yeah.
all of the lights shining in windows like they're supposed to be, and all this stuff. And it like
It was awesome.
you killed it.
I appreciate that. I was like, man, he's gonna never want to work with me again.
But I think that will kind of do it. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up and talk about, or?
The only thing I want to bring up is make sure to follow my pages on Instagram and Facebook, and I appreciate any follow and share that you guys could give me. And I'm always down to do a share for a share. So if you're doing cool shit, I'll share it. And if I so that's the biggest
awesome thing. We'll have all that information down below, so you can check out Kyle wherever he's hiding. It's not really hiding as much as like out there hitting people with sticks. Like, pay attention.
Yes. I'm gonna go yell
at
some point.
But we are going to back out of here. This has been the Hobo's Crypt. I am Topher the Paranormal Hobo. That is Kyle Putra. Check out all his stuff, Night Art Productions, and we will see you on the next episode.